So I'm here in Reston, Virginia, just outside of DC area, and this is part of that government contracting beltway, right? So over my head, you see Microsoft. Let's walk around. I want you to see, this is like the mecca for government contractors, okay? Up there in that top, that's Leidos, all right? Let's keep walking, let's keep walking. I just wanna show you, if you've never been to Reston, Virginia, like I said, it's just 30 minutes outside of DC, all right? That building that you're looking at there, that's SAIC. Right next to SAIC, and right up there, that's Oracle. All right, on the back side of that is Bechtel. And then let's turn the camera. All right, you've got CACI over there. That's CACI. And then you've got CDW here. All right, let's keep turning the camera. And then you've got over here, you've got VeriSign over there, that building. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I missed it, but we got McAfee right over there, sorry, right there next to Leidos. And the reason why I bring this up, the reason why this is important is because all of these entities have small business goals. All of these entities are winning tens of billions of dollars of federal procurement each and every year. Leidos, if you don't know, look them up. They are frequently the number one, number two top DoD contractor in the world, hands down. Even bigger than Boeing and Lockheed Martin and Northrop Group. Look them up. If you don't know Leidos, they're purple, so their color is purple. And for those folks who have not watched all of my podcast guests, we actually interviewed Jennifer Namvar, the capture management director of Leidos. She's on our podcast. I don't know the episode off the top of my head, but you look her up, Jennifer Namvar is her name. The last time I was up here, we actually had lunch together. But nevertheless, all of these organizations, right, they, once you get past a certain threshold, they have to put together subcontracting plans to work with small businesses. It is very difficult for them to find good contractors. It is extremely difficult for them to find small businesses that have capabilities and that are competent and that can come up to the level of being able to support them and their mission. Yes, they do work with hundreds, if not thousands, of small businesses, but there's still a lot of unfulfilled needs happening. The reason why I do what I do, the reason why we make this content is to tell people this stuff, to help them, to give them the knowledge, to share the wisdom, to give them the insights so that you can come up to the level to be able to support these entities. They have mandatory requirements that they are trying to fulfill, and I am trying to help you to be able to fulfill them. Help me help you. None of this will happen without training and education. How do you believe you're going to support a company who does billions of dollars if you don't have education, if you don't have training? What makes you think that? Again, watching a few free videos, spending time with a PTAC person, spending time with a government employee who's never done contracts before, what makes you believe that is enough information to be able to approach an entity like, say, the Leidos over my back shoulders, or Microsoft just off to my right? I want people to understand that it is my belief, okay? It is my fundamental belief that these companies want to do business with us. It is my fundamental belief that they want to do right by small businesses. I'm an optimist, not a pessimist. And so, optimistically speaking, right, I'm saying if we show up and we have the capabilities and we have the capacity, right, then they will be more than happy to keep some of the contracts that are being taken away from them because they can now become compliant. And not only do I have that optimism, I have demonstrated that because I have entities that I have worked with that do hundreds of millions of dollars that are working with fellow small businesses. But having the information alone is not enough. The difference between what we do here on YouTube and what we do in our training programs is on YouTube I give everyone information. It's just like the MBDA, just like SBDC. I give you the information, right? I make it widely available for all of you. But why are you paying? It's because you need the execution. So there's one thing, it's like, okay, here's the treasure map, and I thank you for that metaphor that someone just gave me for lunch. Here's the treasure map. All right, now you go find the treasure. It's great, I got the map, right? But would you rather pay someone to execute on that map? Because it's like, you still have to execute. A lot of people believe or under the impression that having a roadmap alone, just like having a certification alone, is sufficient, that's enough. And while in some instances, it is enough to take you like this far, if you want to go that far, or that far, or that far, or that far, you're going to need someone who's been there, someone who knows how to execute that, someone who knows how to get you in the room, get you in front of those people, right? You're going to need that person who has that ability to take you there in a shorter time frame that can knock off months, knock off weeks, maybe even knock off years of that time. And that's what we're telling folks. And that's what I want people to get to understand. How do we distinguish between all of the free information? It's information. And I have no problem. We will continue providing free information to people. But for those folks out there who are saying to themselves, you know what? I love the free information. I want to be able to now execute on these things. That's the person that we're looking for that's going to take that next step, that's going to spend a couple $100s. That's the person we're looking for that's going to take that next step, that wants to come along and be part of an alliance, be part of an organization that is supporting small businesses. There is no organization that you could join that there's no money, there's no investment. I don't know of any. You know, whether you're part of a union, a teachers union, or a firefighters union, at all, school board union, you're paying, right? If you're part of, I was in an entrepreneurs organization. I was part of an entrepreneurs organization. You're paying every year to be part of that group. Why? Because they have to support you. If you're part of NASC, National Association of Self-Employed, you got to be paid to be part of that association, be paid to be part of that organization. Why? Because so that they can continue to provide the services and the goods to support all of their members. What we've done here is we're creating our own membership. We're creating our own club. We're creating our own internal group of champions, of like-minded folks that want to get together, right, and tackle this thing full steam ahead. I just received a call while I was at lunch. I just received a text message from one of our students that has been sending water to the border and helping the refugees crisis that's coming in. And now they need some trucks to do deliveries. And if you're on my IG, you might have seen that story that I just posted. We're requesting help to get some truckers down there from the border. Well, we've got an internal Slack group of truckers that are all GovCon Giant students that we're now communicated that to, and we're able to get that situation resolved in minutes. And so that's what we are going to continue to do. And whether you're going to stand on the outside and look in, or you want to get on the inside and participate, is going to be a decision that you have to make. I can't make that decision for you. But I do want to say that the opportunities are endless for everyone. Pick an industry, pick a space, right? Now, actually, that brings me to a really good point. And I want to put Microsoft in the background for this one. So let's walk over. Let's grab Microsoft. for this one. There's Microsoft. Okay, there's Microsoft over my head. Yesterday, at the event that we did, someone showed up and he came to support. He knew me from YouTube, and he showed up to the event, and we were sitting there, we're speaking to the director of the organization, the person that put on the event, that brought the hundreds of people out there, that brought Google and Amazon, brought all the companies together, the generals, the actual person who coordinated all of these decision makers, right? And this is good, by the way, this is good for anyone getting started. This is free game for anyone getting started. He brought the decision makers out there. And so now, because he knows I'm a giver, he's a giver, and he says, Eric, these are your people, let me talk to them, blah, blah, blah. He says, and his name is Matt, by the way, it's Matt. If you've been to CyberVites, you know Matt Weaver, awesome guy. So Matt says, he's talking to just the group of people that came with me, and he's saying, hey, listen, he's here to help. He's here to support you. And I want to support all of you. He says, so if you don't tell me how I can support you, right, then that's your fault. Your responsibility is to tell me what is it that you're looking for, what is it that you need, and how can I help? And that's what Matt said. He goes, how can I help? What can I do to help you? How do I support you? And so it's, again, we're crowded around, it's a group of us, and he literally, just like your teacher would call somebody out, he didn't say raise your hands. He was like, hey, you, okay, what can I do to help? He goes, why are you here today? What brought you here? And he says, did you come to see this handsome man? They call me handsome, everybody was picks at me. He goes, did you come to see that guy? And he says, well, he says, I came because I'm just trying to learn, I'm trying to get information, and I want to, I'm interested in government contracting space, and, I just want to find out more about, government contracting. He says, first of all, he says, you didn't tell me anything. You had no ask. He says, I had this general, that general, contracting officers, government officials, I had Amazon, I had Google, I had these companies, I had these decision makers, I had these compliance officers, these program managers. He says, you didn't tell me anything. He goes, so I don't know, based on that response that you gave me, how can I help you? He says, I don't know, how can I help you? How many of you are walking around, if someone asked you today, if someone had the ability to connect you with Microsoft, or to connect you with Leidos, or to connect you with VeriSign, or to connect you with CDW, or SAIC, or Bechtel, to connect you with one of these, literally, like, I could just spin around, right? Close my eyes, spin around, and you could pick one of these guys, right? And he said, I don't even know based on your response. And he stopped. He said, listen, first of all, I'm not trying to embarrass you. He says, I come with good intentions and a good heart, and Matt does. Matt is a fantastic guy. He's phenomenal. If anyone's ever met him before, phenomenal guy. But he was trying to educate the person, the young guy. And he was a young person. And he was trying to educate him. And that's why we are here to help you, to educate you, because I don't want you to get in front of someone who has the ability to change your life, to change your future, to change your business, to help your family, to put food on your table. I don't want you to get in front of him and say, I'm here to learn about government contracting. That's not an ask. And so now everybody in the audience is kind of standing back, right? Just trying to stand back, and because they didn't have an ask. So what I'm getting at was, when I first moved from Leidos over here to Microsoft, is that so many people are like, well, Eric, I'm not sure what to do, and what makes more money, and this and that. And it's like, you got to figure out what you want to do first. So the first thing, I can't help you decide what you want to do. I could give you some ideas, based on listening to you, but we tell people to go through the exercises to figure out where your skill sets are, where maybe you have industry connections, or people that are experts or professionals in certain areas, or you've got experience in R&D, whatever the case may be. You bring that to the table. You don't go out and you look at monetarily what makes the most money and then say, I'm going to go after that industry and have zero experience, zero connection, zero knowledge. You use your current experiences, your current connections, your current relationships, people that you know that like and trust you, and you bring that to the marketplace. But you've just got to find a need. But there are needs in every space. There are needs in every industry. There are needs across the board. So you don't have to use the money, right, as the driver. You don't have to use the money as the sole, this is where I'm going to start. The money part is going to come after solving the needs, after providing capabilities, after delivering, after responding, after, again, providing a solution. After, not before. So simply looking at the money is not good enough. And I'll tell you the same example that I gave the young man yesterday when we were talking. And I said to him, I said, look, I work with an entity that they do construction, and they do tens of millions, let's call it 50 million, round number, in construction a year. And then we were looking at construction projects. And so, in fact, I'm gonna move because I just kind of want a different background. And let me see if the sun, I hope the sun's over here. Even though I like Microsoft. All right. And so, yeah, it's actually better. And hold on, make sure I can get. All right. And what happened was, so now, can you see them? I don't know. Either way, so what happens is, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, okay. So we're talking to the young man, and he said we were discussing about his capabilities and what is it that they want to do. And in terms of choosing based on like monetary reasons. So the example I gave him was, they said, okay, Eric, well, I do trucking, but I know like some product type of thing. And then also, I got people that I know in construction. And I said, you got to pick one lane. I said, you have to pick one lane. And so the example I gave was that I know a company that does, let's say, like I said, for round numbers, 50 million a year. And they do a lot of construction work, $50 million construction work. And they were going after a project that was vertical construction. And it wasn't actually a bid, it was more of an IDIQ. However, what they told me was they didn't think they had a good chance of winning it because it was vertical construction. And they do renovation. And so even within construction, right, there's specialties. So even when you put a blanket like IT, right, or cyber, there's still specialties within those areas. And so you've got to get down to that level of knowledge, of understanding of what it is your business provides and what needs you solve, you've got to get down to that fundamental level of business acumen. And it's really hard for any one of us out here to tell you what that should be. So I say this to folks because, again, I want them to understand, not just in the big 800-pound gorilla out there, right? But also into getting down to the nitty-gritty, niching down, and then really developing out your capabilities. And so I hope that at the very least, the understanding that you take away from this video is, while yes, there may be hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in opportunity, that's not your market. Everyone's not your customer. You're looking for that slither, that string, right? This is, out of all of the stuff, this is your string. And when you can get down to that fine of grain of understanding of what it is that you do best and who is it that you serve and how you can serve them and what their needs are and what their troubles are, you're going to be the most successful small business in your space, because you're going to know what you need to deliver, what you need to do in order to perform, you're gonna know your competitors, you're gonna know all of the decision makers, and they're gonna know you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.